An archetype that has seen its ups and downs over the course of this game, Mill seems to be taking quite a prominent place in the early meta of Way of the Force.
We take a look at some of the cards and techniques that Way of the Force has, which brought Mill to this format.
We are joined by Ruben Sanchez, the Chance Cube's Mill aficionado, to help us break down the milling power in Way of the Force.
This is episode 96, Way of the Mill.
You have been well trained.
No. You don't have to carry a sword to be powerful.
I won't fail you.
Oh, do not.
I'm not afraid.
Please don't try.
Welcome, everyone, back to another episode.
It's another week
of the Chance
Cube.
Show.
We're almost to 100 episodes.
So close.
We should have cake.
We could have cake.
Sitcoms get cake. Yes. No. If you could freeze, you could throw some dry ice in there. You got some tasty stuff down in Orlando.
Like a Baskin Robbins cake.
Yes. We have Jilly cakes. I mean,
what is that?
Telling you, she won Cupcake Wars, so she's got a store. It's pretty good.
Cool.
It's good stuff. Anyways,
well, we're a little
over
100 episodes. That's pretty awesome.
We're almost at 100 episodes. That's overwhelming. They made this announcement that a whole other set's coming out. That's overwhelming.
I feel a certain way about that, but we'll talk about that later.
The Clone Wars is back. That's
I feel a really certain way about that.
And what certain way is that, Kim?
How many times have you watched that trailer?
3.
Oh, I've watched it more than that. And then I found the video of them playing it at Comic-Con. So then I watched that. So then you could see the crowd reaction and the panelist reaction and Amy Radcliffe, who's been on the show before. Her reaction. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that.
So the actors didn't know. Was it one of those Dave Filoni tricks that the actors didn't even know what was coming?
Amy, everything I've read on Twitter, Amy Radcliffe said she had no idea.
That's cool.
So if she didn't know, you would think the actors would have had to know though, because they had to voice some of that, right?
Right.
Some of that was pulled. But I don't know about the line from Anakin, or I don't want to spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it. If you haven't seen it, go Google it now. Go find it on YouTube and then come back.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there were some lines that they recorded prior to the show getting canceled, because they usually record the audio way earlier than they do any of the other stuff.
That's true.
So,
I was really excited about that. I was excited about pretty much all of San Diego Comic-Con, because that is my bucket list con to go to for sure.
Yeah. I think it's
someday I want to go so badly. Did you guys see there was a really cool Lego? I tried to retweet it and win. If anybody has one and they don't need it, I can tell you where you can send it. But it's this awesome little Millennium Falcon cockpit that has Han and Chewie in it.
Oh, cool.
It's so cool, but yeah, I'm probably not. I looked, what day did I look? I don't know, Friday, Saturday, something like that, on eBay. And they were going from anywhere between $75 and pushing $500. Now, the high ones weren't selling.
Right. I
would say middle of the road, they were $100 to $150. And I love that, but I'm not going to spend that much.
That's just so much.
It's a ridiculous amount
for
what that is. Yeah. And I have enough other stuff. I have enough, and I'm saving for that interactive Chewie anyway, so.
Interactive?
Yeah, We've talked about this.
I know we have.
I got it.
You are not new here.
So
I am
Chewie
new.
Will be mine.
I am new.
My friend
Mike's already got it.
My friend that was sitting in line for me got me the Chewie, the Porgs, the Han and Minok, and the Afra and droids. So
the Afra, those look so cool in the old Kenner packaging.
They look so awesome. I'm so stoked for those. That was the thing that I wanted the most. That's originally what he was going there for. And then I was like, oh, well, if they have the Porgs, I'll get the Porgs. If they have the Chewie, you might as well put that in too. And the Han looks nice. You might as well throw that in too. So,
wow. I would too. It was hard not to place it, but I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody going.
And I think I got 2 of those alt arts from FFG.
Nice.
I think he came through with those too.
I think I've got 1 coming.
Nice.
Big fake mistake.
Nice. I'll send you
all my cool
spare.
friends at. Where you at?
I'll send you my spare can.
Where are you guys at?
It'll be good.
Cam will have if one of us has one, we all should have one.
Yeah. You'll be all right.
Good.
You'll get
it's
one.
Rex.
Send me the Chewy instead.
I'm
fine. You can keep the Rex.
Priorities.
Send me the Chewy.
Not happening.
Priorities.
So you know.
Awesome.
Oh, I really hope Santa brings me one of those.
I hope Santa's watching this stream right now.
Santa's updating the price watch as we speak.
Oh, so he's definitely not.
He's not paying attention. Maybe I'll tell my niece and nephew. They won't buy it either. I'm totally screwed. Dang it.
Anyways, speaking of totally screwed, let's talk about the news.
Oh, are we done talking about Star Wars? All right.
Are you not done?
No, we're done. We're good.
Okay.
I bought 6 packs today. I pulled another Darksaber. We'll go to the news. We'll go to the news.
Let me take that back, huh? You'll find what you need.
Fun this past week.
All right.
And what? I'm sorry. I was just talking. Talking.
we were news
Go, just go.
while
I'm
you
gonna
were
stop.
talking.
So
right.
So anyways, FFG dropped a bunch of stuff on us this week. The first thing I want to talk about, the first thing I want to talk about is really interesting. There was an article called The Designer's Journal, and I don't know how much of a splash it made out there because it wasn't like, oh my God, we're talking about Destiny. But I really like that they are starting to bring on the designers to talk about the game. And I think this is like, we always look at these FFG articles as like, man, it's like either really thematic or like really basic. But when they bring these designers on, and Aaron Haltom, who is one of the designers who works on Destiny, seems to do all these for Destiny, shows a great awareness of the meta, which I think is really awesome. Cool. So in here, they get a designer from each of the games, and they break down what they think could potentially show up at Gen Con, which is the North American Championships. As far as Destiny goes, I'm not sure what the others call theirs, but it's just interesting. He talks about Boba 7th and several of the other decks that kind of made it in the meta last time, how the game has changed and how it potentially could change with Way of the Force. So it's a good read. If you haven't seen it, I would always click on those designer journals because I think they're going to be featuring each of their major games in those.
To piggyback that, and maybe I didn't see the right thing, but I thought I saw them also have an article from Edwin Chen. Like, that was just yesterday or today.
Oh.
Yeah, I have that right here. It's under the tag Building Toward Your Destiny, 2018 World Champion Edwin Chen on evaluating new possibilities.
I haven't got to read it yet, but I saw it.
They got a picture of him wearing that San Jose Sharks jersey, which I like to see in that Bay Area. And then he goes on to talk about Snoke, and it looks like we should talk about Darksaber here and events. He basically goes through like the 3 topics, the character, the upgrade support, and the events, and then just a little bit toward the end there. So I definitely,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely suggest everybody reads it. And
it's a good direction. It's a good direction for them. I
think so. Yeah.
The fan articles or the player articles, and then getting some designers in here to talk. I think it's good. It's a good direction.
Maybe they learned by watching all of us.
Nah. Not by watching us. But speaking of a new direction, they have seemed to have made good on their promise that the game is back on schedule, which means that the next set across the galaxy is due out in November. Now, I'm not surprised that they announced the set because it has been pretty regular that after a set comes out, they wait about a week or two, and then the new set is announced. What is surprising is the fact that it's November. They pinned it down to a month. It's something we've been asking them to do. So now everybody can budget. You can budget your 1 box or 12.
You can't buy 12 in November, Jason. You have to buy my birthday present.
Your birthday. I also have to be out of work for 12 weeks with very little pay. So I don't think
there's that.
I don't think this November is going to be the same kind of box
you
opening.
won't have the same unboxing.
No. I may just go to my local store as he's unboxing for singles and be like, can I just stream your unboxing? There you go.
Can I just stream your unboxing? That's awesome. Can I just take your unboxing for content, please?
So,
I love it.
So I feel like I feel like by announcing it the way that they did, and since we hadn't had this new set, like the packs weren't even in the trash yet, right? I feel like it, I don't know, kind of poo-pooed on the meta in a way, because now everybody's suddenly looking over here. I don't know, like, and I'm not saying the meta's still not going to be strong, it is, but just for that, like, I didn't really like the distraction, because we're still trying to figure out this meta. Don't throw me that meta yet. And I'm glad that we have a month that it's coming in. I just don't know that they needed to go to that extent, that close.
With actual spoiler cards and everything?
Spoiler cards. Because I'm like, honestly, for a moment, I looked at it and went, well, I don't remember those being in anything that anybody opened. It took me like half a second to realize that this is a totally different set.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just feel like it poo-pooed on stuff.
No,
that is my, like, official term.
Poo-pooed? It poo-pooed.
It poo-pooed all over the thing.
Well, I mean, what happened instantly was all those content creators who play on TTS started messing around with these guys before we even know how Way of the Force is going to handle. So I can see both ways. There's the excitement on new stuff. There's those who are looking towards the championships that are coming up in a month or two. So you got Gen Con and Nova. Those they have to focus on Way of the Force. They can't even worry about all this new stuff coming. I don't know. I see both sides, but I do agree it's maybe a little bit too much. A set announcement without spoilers would have been great.
Would have been fine. Yeah, I think that would have been fine. But it just felt like it's totally like that magician misdirection of look what I got over here while he's doing. So I'm like, what's so wrong with Way of the Force the way that it is?
Nothing. Way of the Force is still awesome.
We don't even.
Like, I haven't even drafted yet, and we got a whole new set coming.
Given that we have the cards, I think it's worth at least kind of mentioning some of the interesting things that they're bringing to the game. They're definitely using this block of Legacies, Way of the Force, and Across the Galaxy to open up some to open up the design space, right? So Across the Galaxy seems to play a little bit more into neutral. Right? We've got Han Solo, who is now a neutral character, to Kim's dismay.
Yes, to Kim's dismay is correct.
You mean Han Solo and Vader you don't want on a team together?
It'll be interesting, but I don't see it I don't feel that it's very thematic, and maybe I'm wrong. That's fine. But I don't know that I've ever felt him as a neutral character. It'll be interesting to see deck building wise. Like, I don't know.
I mean, he's like a scum rat, right? So he's had to do. I'm sure he's done plenty of dirt, right? So
probably,
he's not the most trustworthy character, I would say. All he deals with is like huts and crime lords. So why should he be a good guy?
Why should he be?
Because he just ended up linking up with Luke and Leia there. Like, it's just
because he did it for whatever was most profitable for him in the long run. Anyway,
so that's fairly new. That is the definition of neutral, I would say.
That's a decent argument. That's probably the best one I've heard so far. So I'll give you that.
I think he's the definition of a neutral character. He just does whatever's best for himself. He doesn't care who's
now,
playing.
like, looking at the card, I think I like it better than some of the previous Tons. Like,
in terms of just playability?
Like, I think it's... I know, granted, because I can play it on either side, but... so I think... Early speculation is he'll see some decent play.
Han Solo and Nines.
Great
you got both of them.
Yeah.
Han Nines. Make it happen, Kim.
Boom.
I could. No, they'll rotate out. No, they won't. I'm good. I don't know about the math, but we'll see.
But also along with Han, we got this Black Sun Blaster pistol, which has a buff when it's on a neutral character as redeploy. So we got some focus here on neutral character building, which I think is really interesting. And I love the special, deal 2 indirect damage to an opponent and then deal 1 damage to a character. That's kind of fun. Force them to take the indirect and then you can determine where that 1 damage is going. That's pretty cool.
That's 3 sides dealing damage 2 or more. That's pretty awesome. That's good.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good
resource. And then I I like these interesting removals with the next card event. Indifferent, 1 resource, spot a neutral character to remove a die. So a lot of these spot 2s that are 1 resource cost removal, I think is great. And interesting focus on neutral. I've said that. I'm a broken record tonight, folks. Sorry.
Are the Jawas neutral? Can you play that card with Jawas?
Yeah. Spot a neutral. Yeah, as long as you have a yellow character on your side.
Right.
That could be Han and some Jawas. I don't know.
This could be a fun. That could be a fun draft card when it comes.
Oh yeah, that would be a great draft
card. The
TIE Fighter.
The TIE Fighter, which is everybody's loving this TIE Swarm concept and
that's
the idea.
Pretty thematic too.
And I love any card that breaks deck building rules.
4 2-cost upgrades. That's ridiculous. That's so quick. Every turn, at least every turn, one of these is coming out. Like, as long as it's in your hand, obviously, and it's ambush. Yeah, I like this.
I mean,
I like it a lot.
If you somehow ran into 8 resources in one turn, you could put down 4 TIE fighters in a turn. Ridiculous.
Because it's text reads. After you play the support, search your deck for a copy of it, reveal it, and add it to your hand. So as soon as you find one, you're gonna find them all.
Yeah,
pretty.
As long as you can afford them.
Yeah, and this is gonna go great in a Thrawn deck. Just bringing that red. This is some heat for some vehicle. I like this a lot. And well, I'm sure the next card's gonna be the modification.
Yeah, upgrading vehicles is wow. I'm so excited.
So excited that well then, hello there.
Mellow.
We're professionals. That's
insane though.
And I wonder how this is going to change because you can't. There's not a lot of vehicle removal, right? There is, but no one's playing it.
Oh, there will be.
And so this upgrade's never going to go away unless you. I mean, you could vandalize it away, but like with current characters, if you kill them, then their upgrades generally disappear unless they have redeploy.
I'm guessing there's going to be something in the set, though. Do you know what I mean? Like
which will handle,
that's going to give you some of that. I would expect that.
Man,
there's going to have to be something like deal damage to a support equal to its cost to remove it from the board or something like that. I think because it's going to need to eventually get easier first to get supports off the board because as characters are generating more and more resources as we see, supports are just going to be coming out faster and faster. And what way is there to deal with it besides just trying to kill the characters quickly?
For sure.
And when they're bringing out stuff like Dark Ritual and you got all these cards Rejuvenate and stuff that can bring back characters or heal characters, it's just making it that much more difficult. So there's going to need to be some sort of vehicle management coming in this set.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. Put it on your prediction sheet, Jason.
I will add that to my prediction sheet.
IKEA, if you think you'll be able to do direct damage to support, like what would their health be? Because we have all these vehicles that have no health. I think it's gonna have to be something where it has to deal with their cost because their cost is truly like indicative of how well the vehicle does on the board. So the more you have to pay to remove or deal damage to it, the better the vehicle is going to be. So
interesting.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Mike. There's no health. Yeah, how do you? I can damage it all day long, but if I don't have any health,
right?
Interesting.
Yeah, exhausting upgraded supports is also, or just exhausting supports in general, just so you can control their dice for a round.
Yeah,
would be good.
Continuing on the villain red front, Iden Versio, a name I have read many times and never actually tried to pronounce.
Right, we had that problem too. Here,
first,
like, how do I? Yeah.
First introduced in Battlefront 2, Inferno Squad, and then became a character in the game. I'm sure the game came first, and the novel was an accompaniment to it. Great character. while one or more of this character's character die are in your pool, your opponents cannot take additional actions. So a character that has built-in action cheating prevention, so no ambush, basically squashes all ambushes. So really forcing us as a meta as a whole, honestly, to just stop action cheating.
So all I see is her being fit together with TIE Fighter. Or TIE Pilot. Sorry, said that wrong. Because when his dies in the pool, you can't play a removal card, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
You can't remove range damage, I think, when his dies in the pool.
So you put enough out there, and so basically your opponent's like, well, I can't do crap.
Yeah. Oh man, that's cool. And she's got two range sides and 2 focus, which is awesome. We're seeing more of that 2 focus come in play. Yeah. Kind of part of the. I know there's an inherent power creep going on, but I also think it's like trying to find that balance in the game, right? I don't want to attribute too much to power creep. I think it's what is that balance between damage and point value and health that makes this game good. I'm hoping we see it level out, but it's going to take 17 more sets to see if that's actually true.
I really like this character. 2 damage sides, that 2 focus. A discard and a resource. She got great card text. 15 cost for 12 health is like a phenomenal deal. I see her like there's a reason she's legendary. This card is going to see a lot of play, I imagine.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too.
Yeah, I'm stoked to play this. This is on my list for sure.
For sure. Not on your list is probably the hero Kit Fisto.
Not at all.
His ability's cool.
That's
all I got. Hang on, I'm thinking. I can't see what you guys. I can't see what you guys can see.
Before this character takes damage, you may remove one of his character or upgrade dice showing melee damage to block damage equal to the value showing on that die.
That.
So he's got a lot of he can. That's pretty cool that his character or upgrade dice with melee to block damage equal to the value showing on that die. So,
and I feel like that's a thing a Jedi should have, right? Like.
Very thematic.
How often do you see Jedi like defending against blaster attacks by swapping them back out?
How much does Obi cost? Because if I see this guy paired up with Obi, I'm gonna be like really irritated. Or like anybody who's
Obi's pretty pricey. Isn't he like 18 elite, 17 or 18 elite?
If he's 17, then he could get paired. That would be 3 die, and it would be mono blue. But like they're two like. Just them in a pair, shields and doing this for removal would just be crazy. And you don't need to.
Yeah, it'd be hard to fight through.
Yeah, and you don't need to play him at 16. You could just play him as 13 and put some sticks on him, some cheap sabers for 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you could easily remove that. And I don't know. That's crazy. That's like even better than like Guardian. That's. This is an awesome character. I like this brings something different to the game, like really different.
I like yeah,
it's very cool
for sure. And then last we got this kind of cool event which has got some staying power. 1 resource to play only if you spot 2 ready characters, so you have to play at the top, basically the top of your turn. Exhaust one of your characters, then until the end of the action phase block all non-indirect damage dealt to that character by your opponents. Set the stint aside.
Yeah, that one's pretty crazy.
So,
but that's not everything. We missed one other point of this set. It was kind of big.
Oh,
negative
this is your
plot
favorite.
Cards.
I know.
Which I feel like we said was going to be a thing.
Wait, it's not on the slides. I'll get it.
Well, they're there. I promise,
it,
because I've read that article like 4 times.
What? Negative? We didn't see any negative plot cards. They just said they were coming.
We didn't see any, so that's fair. Okay. There weren't any. Yeah, there weren't any images, but in the article it read that there would be negative. So then, what's the point of having? I'm choking. Oh my god. So what's the point of having a balance of the Force if you're going to introduce negative plot cards?
I think a negative plot card is going to have a significant detriment to you.
Yes, I think so.
I feel like it would have to.
Like, there's got to be some, like, you can't activate your characters on the first turn, or you start with 0 resources, or something stupid.
You've got to pay to get that, to make those matches happen. But I'm curious, like, yeah, so there has to be something like that, and otherwise, then we'll fall right. Then what's the point of having a balance of the Force? Because now you could bring those pairings
for sure
back together.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know, but across the galaxy, more to come. Hopefully, not too soon. I think we'd like to get our feet wet a little bit more into the current meta before we even spend a lot of time thinking about this one. We were certainly gung ho about what Way of the I can't even remember Way of the Force, because we were in Legacies for
together
1,000 years. But
yeah, we were in a drought, right? This is not a drought.
This is not a drought. This is exciting though. So it's really awesome. Before we move on to our show topic, I did want to. We kind of skipped over this last week because of time, but various reports from Store Championships are coming in. The meta has not settled. Last week we did talk about the Gungans that beat Kylo Anakin from Team Covenant over the Edmund Unplugged Store Championship.
We
Ruben
shared that article too, like that. So over on our Facebook page, Steven wrote a really great article about that deck, and I know it's floating out around the interwebs, but we shared it on our page as well. If you want to check that out, it's a great read.
Yep. I know we'll talk about Mill in excess here in a few minutes. Mike, you had a couple Store Champs.
I'll reserve the rest, but
I've had them around me, but I have not been to any yet. I recently had surgery, and I've been working like every weekend. So my 10 Store Championships that I was able to go to is slowly dwindling down. But I'm probably going to be running the Store Championship at Santa Clara Game Castle, or at Mountain View Game Castle. So
very cool.
Hopefully I'll have someone there to help so I can still play. So I'll at least be attending one and covering one and TOing. So I'll be out there. I'm just... Oh, someone has their...
that would be me. That would be me breaking the rules.
I'm
an epic fail today.
I'm mostly excited and preparing for Gen Con. I'm going to be playing in Nationals, and then I'm playing in 2 drafts and 1 win-a-box through Nerf Herders. So I have a full weekend of Destiny.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
And it's going to keep me from spending a bunch of money at the board game area.
Well, I can send you a list if you need help spending money on board games. There's a couple I need picked up.
You already sent me a giant list. Get out of here, Kim.
but that was a list for you to go look at. Now there's a list of stuff I need.
So in that article that talked about the Gungans, you can also see that Kylo Anakin list.
Oh, yeah.
And that is very, very similar to what I played against Monk like maybe 4 weeks back when we did our original recording. And that deck is super solid. If one event is a trilogies format, and that's what I'll be running. Nice. And in my standard events, I might even still run it. A different variant, obviously. But I'm so comfortable with that deck that I think that's what I'll probably be running at Gen Con.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big play too. Like if you're comfortable with it, then I think it's always a good move.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So we're gonna bring Ruben on here to sit and talk about Mill for as long as he's able to, which may be the rest of the night. However, before we move on, just wanted to remind everyone out there, whether you're listening now or listening in the future, you can head over to thechancecube.com/Nova. We are accepting donations on behalf of the Nova Open Charitable Foundation. This is a group that supports the Fisher House Foundation and Doctors Without Borders and breast cancer research. Half of these donations will go straight to them to support their cause. The other half will go straight to help underwrite the cost of the live stream over at the U.S. National Championship that we'll be providing, which is extensive, and I would like to be able to eat, please.
Yeah, these things are
not
expensive.
it's ramen noodles and dumpster diving.
Yes. Disgusting. But anyways, so any help would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
But the Chance Keep will be there in full force to provide hopefully an awesome live stream of that event and see kind of where Way the Force meta has peaked, because I think that will be the peak of the US meta until Across Galaxy comes out and everybody starts looking towards regionals at that point. So
toward more vehicles.
More vehicles?
Yeah, that's what they're going to be looking towards. No, that's
more?
what everybody's looking towards.
More vehicles? Yes, vehicles is coming in full force. So anyways, we're going to take a break to hear a message from our sponsor, and then we'll jump right into all the Mill that we can stomach.
We'll be right back.
You know, Mike, I just can't seem to get the cards I need in the booster packs I bought. I'm still missing a Mother Talzin, a Darth Maul, and I need some more battle droids. That 5-wide droid deck isn't going to build itself, and I have all these extra Yodas.
Seriously, Kim, I told you, check out Armada Games. You can buy and sell Destiny cards on their website, shoparmada.com. It's just a few simple clicks and bam, you are done. I used it just the other day, and now I got two Maul Sabers heading my way.
Hey, what are you guys talking about? We're in the middle of a break here.
Jason, you know how you've got all those extra cards from all those booster boxes you open? Mike says you can sell them online super easy.
No way, seriously? How? I've got to make room before this next set comes out.
Jason, whether you're new to the game or a seasoned vet, Armada Games has just what you're looking for. You can buy and sell your Destiny singles all from the comfort of your living room. Pre-order the latest sets of boosters and find the droids you are looking for. You can also check out their selection of Destiny accessories. And you'll get free shipping on orders over $75. For an even better deal, be sure to use the coupon code TheChanceCube and receive 5% off your Destiny purchase. Visit their website at shoparmada.com. Armada Games. Get in here and game.
But you know what I always say. Speak softly and drive a big tank.
Well, everyone, we are back with the Ruben Sanchez.
Ruben Sanchez.
That would be me.
That guy.
That guy. Ruben has been our resident expert on mill and everything. Well, of course, everything the Chance Cube, because he makes us sound all more awesome than we actually are, because that's just what he does. But Ruben, you are exclusively a mill player at this point, right? That's been like for months now.
Oh yeah, all the shiny weapons that people need, I trade.
I don't need them weapons.
I trade.
That's how I feel about hero cards. I got hero cards, I trade them. I don't need them.
So we brought Ruben to share his viewpoint on mill as it stands in Way of the Force. So he's written some articles for our websites recently that cover a lot of this stuff. But just wanted his opinions on the cards and things happening in Way of the Force. And we're also going to pop up a deck list that he shared with us. It's published over Super Tech. It's published over under the Chance Cubes account on SW Destiny DB as well. I'll drop a link in the chat in the notes of the show, and Mike's going to pull it up here on the screen, I imagine, because he's pretty handy.
In like 2 seconds here.
Cool.
Folks can't find you handsome, they should certainly find you handy.
So Ruben, let's
double threat over here.
Let's talk characters. I see that you're currently favoring a Yoda and the princess.
Everybody can see it now.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's definitely been a fun deck. Of course, everyone and locally, they just, whenever they play against me, they're like, what are you going to bring to the table today? And Leia has been doing really well. She's been very surprised, the character, especially how fast. My mill matches take maybe 15 to 16 minutes now. So either I'm out or I'm winning quickly. So the funny thing is, after I get done finishing a round, I walk around and see how everybody else is doing, because the deck is pretty fast. So it's just doing really well. I just like the way Leia's, her ability, her power action is just phenomenal, especially with her two sides or any, depends what you pair with. With Yoda, you can always, get another mill action. It's just constantly milling, aggro the hand out. And mill has shifted so much now with the Way of the Force that it's just so much more fun to get cards out of the hand, because that's the challenge as mill players, is how to get cards out of their hand throughout the game. And with Leia, it's been super fast and super effective.
At 11 health, is she staying alive long enough to really do enough damage?
Yes, First Aid is a card that is from Way of the Force, which is basically if they do damage to my character, I can get a spot of red. I can put 4 damage heal from Leia. So what I typically like to do is, shield up Yoda, and if they target Leia, I'm going to get that 4 damage off, that first turn. So they spend a lot of their resources, literally, and their damage to try to get her down, and then I can just heal her right back up.
Nice, and you're running 2 of those.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah, and of course I've got Dex's Diner in there, and Dex's Diner is pretty much MVP in that deck, especially once you hit 6 hit points, 6 damage on a character. You can spend 1 resource to heal 2 off of it, and every turn you can heal damage. Early game, getting that card out definitely shifts how much damage output goes out there on the character. So I really like Dex's Diner in there for health wise. You got your field medic, you got your first aid. So, I got a Force Illusion in there too to save off. A lot of people like to go after Yoda, because Yoda is just so incredible with his dice sides. But if Leia gets to be their late game, she's just gonna take all the cards out of their hand and just, it's just really effective in how the her card is.
Mm-hmm.
So now in my local meta, we actually had a mill deck win our store championship. It was a variant of this, so it was a Leia, Yoda, but it also had a partisan. So have you tried any other variants other than just Leia and the Yoda?
Yeah, I have other variants I've been testing out and playing. I just played a tournament tonight, and I tested. I went 4-1 overall with playing Cassian and Yoda, which I think is yellow is really strong. I really like yellow because of all the great cards it has with it, and of course, easy pickings and so forth. But yeah, I've been trying different variants. I'm going to try out a Old Man Luke with Yoda. Is going to be another pairing, or not Yoda, Old Man Luke with Cassian, excuse me, because I'm going to try different things because the shield sides help out too. And there's so many different, with Way of the Force being released, there's so many different variants you can make in play, and it's just Mill is at a great spot right now. And of course, it's a great spot when FFG is like, hey, by the way, Mill is a great experience, not an MP.
Yeah, I haven't played a ton of Mill yet, and obviously like that villain Mill is still not quite there. I mean, obviously there's some really good cards and there's potential. I look forward to these alternate win conditions. I think it's another route. It's kind of trolly. It's fun to play. Like personally, I like it. I can't wait till there is something worth playing on the villain end, so I can enjoy Mill. It looks really fun. This deck looks really fun to play. I see there's no shortage of resources being made in this deck. You got the Yoda specials. You're running a chance cube. Leia's showing a resource side. Yoda, this looks super fun to play. What else?
Oh, it is.
What? Why don't you go through some of your top mill cards that you think are the best in right now?
I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the easy one, Pacify. That card is a 0 drop. It's blue. Basically, it's a 2-way street. You can either use Pacify on their character die. That is a great die. It could be a Count Dooku dice, 3-for-1. Get rid of that. Oh, give him 2 shields. I'm not really worried about you getting shields because I'm not going to be doing any damage, so that's okay. Or take one of your character dice, move it, and give yourself 2 shields. Value for 0 is an incredible card for that. That's going to be in my top 5 list. And another card that you don't see much people talk about it, but is an incredible card in Mill and Control is Beguile. It's a 2-drop, and basically you get to manipulate 3 dice and get rid of 1 of them. So I think, being a Mill player and Control player, I'm going to get those resources. I'm not worried about, I don't know what to do with my money, or I don't know, I'm not going to get enough resources. But being able to mess with 3 dice and getting rid of 1 of them for 2 is incredible, especially if you're playing Mill and Control. And you know how it is. A lot of focus sides, a lot of people are trying to change their dice around, whatever. If you can get rid of some dice, that's what it's all about.
Right.
So I would say Beguile is another incredible card. Another card that I really like to play is Suppressive Fire. It is a 0 drop. It basically action cheats a little bit. They roll out a dice, and it's a character die. They're like, oh, they just rolled out a 3-for-1. Ooh, I don't have any mitigation in my hand. But you know what? I'm going to pay 1 resource. I'm going to get rid of that card. I'm going to discard my Suppressive Fire, and I'm going to take another action. A 0 drop. I think most Mill Control decks that are running any kind of red should definitely be running that card, because I just think it's so incredible, and its value is just insane. So Another card that I would say is is a good card too, especially if you're playing blues. Flames of the Past. Not many people talk about it, or I haven't really heard much noise about it. But it's basically, if you're milling, it's a card. It costs 2. If there's another card, in the discard pile, and any discard pile, you pay 2, and you can remove that card from play. It could be Planetary Bombardment. It could be an Ancient Lightsaber. It could be a Chance Cube. It could be Sith Holocron. Boom. Oh, I got one in the graveyard or in the discard pile. Boom. I'm paying 2. Get rid of that one too. So that's a card that I really, really like. It's definitely a card that can definitely change a game quickly.
Interesting. I like seeing some of these cards that, like you said, we haven't heard a lot about. I also thought Beguile was a card we see a lot more of that we haven't seen hardly any of. And I'm glad to see 2 copies in here because, like you said, it is a way for two resources to manipulate 3 dice in 3 different ways too, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a card that I truly, really, every time I play it, it's like, gosh, and it's definitely a very controlling card, and that's why I like it so much.
Nice. Let's see what else you got in here. You're running Hidden Motive for removal, Mind Trick for for removal. Mind Trick is such a cool card. I like that it makes you divvy them up into 2 piles. Like, what's the right play? Is there even a right play for
right,
that?
And it puts a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
It puts a lot of pressure on your opponent to decide what they're going to be doing with that. Right.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, well, if you get rid of this, I get rid of that. They don't know what I'm playing in my hand, so I can just go ahead and get rid of that pile and then start working on the other sides because it's to get rid of 2, 3, 4 dice. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm. Then we got Overconfidence, Parry, Sound the Alarm, and Way of the Force. So, you get your standard blue-gray removal, control, and tell us a little bit about Scout.
It's basically, you put it on, of course, Yoda or Leia, whatever it is. It's such a great card because you can look in their hand and decide, of course, you're going to get the cheapest card out of it, but you get so much information. Like, okay, all right, I know what they got in their hand. I know if they got any mitigation. I know if they got any upgrades. What do I need to work on? Mm-hmm. But it puts a lot of pressure on them because typically when a scout is dropped or rolled and a special comes out, 9 times out of 10 they're going to either play their 0 drop or 1 drop or whatever, but you're already getting a card out, either on play or out of the hand. So you're basically getting that extra information, because they're going to either, I need to get rid of this card because you're going to get rid of it anyway. Yeah. Of course, it's got focus side, so that doesn't hurt.
Right. Anything with focus side is good. It's only 1 focus, but you're really rolling for that special. And a 33% chance every time you roll. And you're sitting on a ton of focus with Yoda. Leia's also showing a 2 focus side. There's plenty.
The Scout also has a right. The Scout has a great side too. Is the 2 disrupt for 1 resource.
Yeah.
Which once you start choking out their cards, you start choking out their then it has a really good. It's a really good upgrade for that.
That's kind of the niche that I kind of find myself falling into when the time is right, is that control more deck or that choke deck where you're not focused more on mill, but you're just complete control with resources and everything. I think it sounds really fun to play. Yeah. It's still not quite there. We're finally falling into a mill meta. I know you've been playing it forever, but it seems like it's really coming to the forefront now. The decks are being built that are going to win store championships and already have.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when we had Jeremy on the show, he kind of did hint towards Mill having an opportunity to kind of at least get a little more equal with control and aggro. And I think we're really starting to see that.
So if you were only able to play villain Mill, what would you play?
Villain Mill. Let's see. I like Snug, what he can do. There's a really cool ability, of course, is power action. If you can get, Jabba, old Jabba, you can possibly power action, get his 2 discard, get 4 discard out, turn 1. That can really be something fun to play with. I definitely would like that. Anything that can choke resources. There's so many things you can do. So I would say possibly I would like to try the old Jabba with possible Snoke as a way of using the power action to get discard, to get disrupt, and all that fun shenanigans.
Let's see. So Jabba is 14. So
old Jabba's only 14.
I think he get a. Yeah, he's only 14.
He didn't get balanced. No, it was Unkar.
Yeah, he's only 14.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I think there's. I mean,
14 and what is that? 14 and 13. And then you could still play a 14, 13. You can still play a 3-point.
3-point block card.
Yeah, there's a lot of room there.
There's some good 3-point block cards.
Yeah, that would be an interesting pair.
Huh. I like the fact that there are so many combinations.
Connections.
Not relying on one particular character.
Profitable connections.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, profitable connections. 3 points. You start the game with 1 additional resource. Like Jabba needs more resources. Nice. That's interesting. Maybe we'll have to build that and run it a couple times, see how it does.
Cool. I'm nervous about Snoke being able to just eliminate a hand every round. That's what scares me.
I think that's a valid concern.
Yeah, that's huge.
You're what now?
Now what do I do?
I mean, I could play 1 card each turn. Great. Which one of my 1 cards do I want to play before? No.
So, yeah, that would definitely be a mill deck because they would not put out any damage. I mean, I guess you could do 2 indirect every round from Snoke.
Woo!
Woo! Yeah.
Yay!
So,
cool.
Yeah, it would definitely be a mill for a hand.
Might have to do some damage.
Yeah, I think you would have to do some damage. You might have to get a different. Yeah, it might be like 3 wide or something.
So, to bring this full circle, what do you feel like? What is your biggest obstacle when those games that you lose and you lose handily? What is your biggest obstacle you're coming across right now?
Well, the funny thing is before Way of the Force dropped, vehicle decks weren't as before. Decks are becoming a pain in the butt. So I would say that is the biggest challenge right now is playing against vehicles because, you got the planetary bombardment, you got there's just so many different vehicles that are. So it's just, I would say right now that is, of course, mill, it's definitely, some, mill decks are, geared to do different things and, it's got to be who's the fastest. I can't make this stuff up. I was playing in the store championship, I think a week or so back. I played a mirror matchup playing with my Leia and Yoda build. It came down to he claimed the battlefield and he won. Wow. So because we both got rid of all of our cards out of our deck, out of the hand, everything, and he claimed the battlefield because it went to time. So it's just, I would say the mirror matchups now aren't like they used to be, where you're going to be facing off at Riken, Yoda or whatever, Partisan, whatnot. But now it's so many different variations of decks that you can play against that. But I would say their vehicles has been tough. Snoke with Thrawn is just brutal. But I would say too that mirror matchups are fun to play against, but it's definitely a race.
Huh.
Yeah,
very cool.
So I played that Thrawn Snoke. That was what I thought I was going to take to nationals, and what I found is that everybody was playing it, and everybody's realized that if you just choke Thrawn real quick and you put him out, Snoke can't finish the game, and it's really hurt. It's like everybody played it so quick that that deck got teched so fast that it's now, to me, it feels like it's not a thing anymore. But I mean, who knows? Maybe it's still got enough strength to get through. We'll see.
Yeah. I like the thematics of Snoke not being able to finish what he started.
So, Kim, why don't you let's play a fancy transition, and then we'll talk about some mill cards that our listeners have talked about.
What are we doing? Do we want to leave Ruben here, or do we want
to
get rid of him?
We want to leave Ruben here.
Keep him for a little while.
Yeah,
we're talking about more mill.
He doesn't need fed or watered yet, so we're fine.
You don't have to do anything. You just stay right there. We're gonna go. We're gonna.
No, he doesn't need food or water. It's fine.
No.
All right, I can do that.
All right.
There can be no mistakes this time.
All right. Take it away, Kim.
So, kind of like what Ruben was saying, I did see over on our awesome little Facebook page. So we asked you guys what cards from Wave the Force is encouraging Mill to finally rise to the top in the early meta. So, Ruben, you may agree with a lot of these. And Ruben even commented, Ruben had said Leia, her die sides and power actions are brutal. So I think he'd still stand by that comment. A lot of love for Leia. But I also saw some Cassian. So, Steven saying that Cassian may be the second best card in the set. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
What's the number 1 card?
I don't know. They didn't tell me. They just said number 2.
Is awesome.
What is it? You dropped out there, Ruben. What did you say?
I said Cassian is an awesome. I think Cassian and Leia being released in the same set just speaks volumes of what they got planned for Mill. So I just think those two characters, they're incredible.
Awesome.
Now, one card that I see over here on Facebook getting mentioned that we didn't talk about was really the young Anakin, so the Annie card. And I don't know that I've seen him. Everybody's thinking with him and his pod racer, but I haven't seen a lot of decks being chatted about with Anakin yet. Have you guys seen anything?
Not at all.
I've seen a few decks playing him. I think right now people are still playing with the new toys, Leia and Cassian. Mm-hmm. So I think that people are really focusing on those kind of decks. But I really think, especially with trilogies, I think young Anakin will be something to be played. And, that's just, I'm excited for that format too. I haven't even sat down. I mean, I've been putting decks on the database, but I haven't actually played a trilogies game yet with the deck. So, but I really think that, going forward, I think young Anakin will definitely be something that people will be playing because his ability is pretty good and his pod racer is just crazy good.
Yeah, I haven't seen those pod racers really break out yet, but I think it's...
Oh, in time.
I think the meta will get to it. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I totally agree. Now, Austin had mentioned, and I don't recall if we mentioned this card or not, Clandestine Operation being a great mill card when combined with Yoda's Dice and Force Meditation.
Very interesting.
It's a good card.
I had this played against me for 8 cards.
I guess I just think right now with the Silent decks, I think that would be like probably one of the first cards to get cut because if you want to use yellow, you're going to look for a lot of mitigation.
Yeah.
Not win more cards, but I definitely think that is a good card as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Austin's saying that he had that played against him for 8 cards off the top of his deck.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It happens.
Ouch.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's a lot of cards.
That our friend Rebel Gray had mentioned that alongside Leia, another one that Ruben had mentioned was First Aid, bringing another layer of healing. And I loved hearing you say that you have one of my favorites, oldies, Field Medic, coming back into the swing. I love that card. It's helpful. Essentially, that's helps. if you have a 2 slot, that's 4 damage healed.
Yep.
Yeah, and aid, it's only that 4 damage is only good for that first round, and then after that, it is heal Leia, 2 damage every turn after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every little bit counts, and that Field Medic is a thorn in many villain players' sides.
Oh yeah, and I feel like it kind of got pulled out of decks a little bit because the meta got so fast that healing those 2 just didn't make a difference for a while. But I think now it actually, especially with a mill deck, that it would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Mill just has to survive. They don't need to win. They just need to survive. If they can survive and just keep them with 1 hit point and then mill the rest of their cards out of their deck and then have one, I don't care if I win with Yoda dead and Leia has 1 health remaining. But that field medic or that first aid definitely kept her alive. And with Dex's Diner, which is that card is I played against a Luke Ray deck and I can't. He did so much damage to my characters, but I kept kept using Dex's Diner because at 6 damage, it's 2 damage every resource. I can heal like every turn 2 to 3 damage. Turn 2, take 2 damage off and then take another one off after that. So it's just there's the heals is incredible.
Yeah,
makes it frustrating. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you put if you have yellow in there, then you have access to things like second chance too.
Yeah, second
which
chance
can be maddening to have played against you.
Yeah,
that card so much.
I mean, I won't lie, Ruben. Mill is my least favorite way to lose a game. Like it makes me throw the table angry to be milled.
I was sitting across a player today. His name is Dan. He's a newer player in our community, and he's like, "Oh, time for the NPE experience." And he was playing a 3-wide vehicle deck. And what I was doing, I was playing Cassian and Yoda, and it was just like aggressively just attacking his deck. And we were the first ones done because I was taking out all of his vehicles left and right. I think he dropped 1 down. And then after that, I was controlling everything I needed to do. So it was pretty brutal because, not only that, but here's the thing that a lot of people don't really touch upon when they play Mill. Yeah, not only are you discarding cards out of their hand and their deck, but what does it do to the player when they're seeing all their best cards go in their discard pile? Right. And typically, people will make mistakes because they're playing on, a poker term called tilt. Mm-hmm. So, and that's one thing I've touched upon in one of my articles before is, that's an advantage for a Mill player is if they're playing their game off emotion, not based off of, anything other than if they're not using their skill, whatever, and their emotions start taking over, that's when mistakes can happen. And playing Mill control, if people make mistakes, you capitalize.
I agree.
On it.
So you want to piss them off?
No, yes. I don't want to piss them off. As a Mill player, mistakes will happen more when they're playing based off emotion than they are versus their skill set. Because Mill is an incredible archetype, but is it the best archetype? No, but it keeps all the archetypes honest.
And I will say now, if we had not limited the question just to cards that would bring Mill up to the top, then I think that playing on tilt would probably have been an answer.
Yeah,
from some of the people because I agree. Yeah.
This is Ruben Sanchez, the community ambassador for the RVA.
Ruben at thechancecube.com.
Who is now according to the chat, Scuba Finch says, way to scare off new players. DJ Samp says, one-sided game-killing meta. And Impulse 4-1 says, can't do that, need all the players we can get. So everybody hates you, Ruben.
Everybody hates you.
Ruben can take it. It's okay.
Here's how
I give him, just so you guys know, we hear a lot about Mill over in the Chance Cube Hangout. Ruben likes to talk about it a lot. So we give him a lot of flack for it, too. So
that's fine.
He can dish it out, and he can take it most of the time.
See, I used to be like the primary Mill player in my community. Now there's like 3 or 4, so I'm okay with that.
Look at that.
Awesome.
I've seen really Mill pop up more in my community, not much to my dismay, but
no, that's very.
I think it's better to have a rounded out meta. I mean, really, in the long run.
Ruben Sanchez, MA, Mill ambassador.
Mill ambassador.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today, Ruben.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Not a problem. I just want to say a shout out to a kid who plays at one of the other shops, Tag, which is Todd's Knights of Ren shop. His name is Jake. He's about 10 years old. He plays Mill too, and I really like to give a shout out to him because he's playing a deck that he and I played in the tournament, and it was just super fun to play against him. And his whole family plays Destiny. So his little sister, she's like 7, and his dad and his mom plays. So it's really cool to see families playing this game, and then of course one of the kids are playing Mill, and that's like, hey, how you doing? Let's talk about
it. Don't corrupt the children. Like, come on, man. Don't corrupt the kids.
He's a young kid playing Mill, so he's already got it right. So
an impressionable young child, and you're pushing Mill on him. Gosh.
I love it.
Breeding trolls every day.
Well, everyone, it has come that time, the end of another episode of the Chance Cube Live here on Twitch. Or
wait,
what? I was going to
say
we didn't
ask next week's question.
That's part of my new exit.
Oh well, I didn't know that was your exit.
I got the memo.
That's not how it is on the script, buddy boy.
Oh, sorry. Let me move this up.
Yeah.
The devil.
There we go.
There we go. Now I'm on board with you.
That's why I changed things on them, and then they all they're right.
I am not open to change, but go
ahead. Anyways, thank you for joining us for another week of the Chance Cube here, talking about Mill. Thanks again to Ruben for joining us. Everyone head over to our Facebook page, pinned at the top, that we have this week's question with Prep for Store Champs Nationals and North American Championships as well underway. What deck are you building? And next week we will be talking about the early meta in Way of the Force. So join us next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for joining us, and please don't forget to help support the Nova Open by visiting thechancecube.com/Nova. Anything you can donate is certainly appreciated.
All right,
Thanks, everybody.
Have
a great week.
Guys.
Bye.
This has been The Chance Cube, a Star Wars Destiny podcast, a non-profit organization dedicated to building community through gaming. Visit our website for all things Star Wars Destiny, including our price watch, meta tracker, and latest articles from the Chance Cube family. Find our latest videos on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit us at patreon.com/thechancecube. Your patronage allows us to grow this program and help us give back to the gaming community by sponsoring events, giveaways, and supporting our own community building initiatives. This is Mike Hill, the voice of the Chance Cube. Thanks for listening. The Chance Cube is not affiliated with Fantasy Flight Games, Lucasfilms, or the Walt Disney Company.